Debra, before we get into your upbringing and your career, I first want to ask, how are you doing? Because I know that you had mentioned on social media that the past year was one of the hardest years of your life.
It absolutely was. I can say that if you asked me that question 6 months ago, you'd get a different answer. I feel fortunate, blessed to have worked through a lot of the PTSD that I experienced in being a caregiver to my parents. And for those who don't know, as they're listening, I took care of my parents, and they both passed away within 2 weeks. And this was on the heels of separating and getting divorced from my husband. So I was doing it alone. No help, we of course had a couple of people like caregivers who kind of helped me, but it was on me. So that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And now we're a year past that, and I have been through therapy. I feel so blessed to have found the right therapist for me who helped me. Um, and I have a lot of good things in my life too, and I know that they're watching. I know they're listening. I know they're here.
What has grief honestly taught you about yourself in the past year?
It's interesting if you haven't, well, number one, when you lose someone, you only can talk to people who lose someone because nobody else gets it.
Hmm.
And we all mean to say nice things and we all say, I'm thinking of you. Let me know if you need anything. But
Right.
I'm never going to let you know if I need anything. 'Cause I don't even know what I need because I'm so decimated and just broken. So I think number one, you don't realize how strong you are. You don't realize how strong you are as you go through these things and you make it through to the other side. And it makes you realize that, we're we're all gonna die. It's part of life. Death is part of life. And I think what I realized in going through it is that we're all kind of grieving different things. We're just not talking about it.
Hmm.
Maybe you're grieving the loss of a friend. Maybe you're grieving the loss of a career. Maybe you're grieving the loss of your youth. We're all grieving something, at all times. I just think that we just have to be kinder to each other. Stop with the BS of, oh, she said this, and oh, well, this person making up a story about why that person didn't call me. It just really puts things into perspective, what's important and what's not.
Yeah, it makes me think about this one journalist that I interviewed that said, you'll never be a great journalist until you've went through some of the things that people go through, grief being one of them. Do you
Yeah.
feel like even as a journalist, you just have this different perspective?
Well, I'm blessed that I get to tell the kind of stories that I want to tell. But even so, no matter what story I'm telling, I'm always thinking of that viewer and I'm always thinking of how can I shift the room? How can I make the person who's watching know that I'm just like them and that I care? How do I get across? How do I touch them? I have not just, an on-air career, but through social media, I meet people all the time that I'm helping to lift up. I don't know who the heck they are. Like they're out there. We've never met, but we're close. Um, it's incredible. But yeah, I feel like as a journalist, you do have to go through some stuff in order to understand. And I know this because I was at a point in my career when I didn't go through stuff. And my stuff, my journalism, my live shots, they were blander. They didn't connect as much. I mean, they were fine, you know, but you have to go through some stuff to really become a storyteller and thread the needle and give me the why do we care and how can I change your life and what do I need to dig through and what kind of paperwork do I need to kind of go through and weed through to get to the heart of a story, whatever it is. It affects us all. A story happening over here affects us over there for people who are listening and not I'm pointing. So um, it's it's incredible. You have to go through some stuff. I'll just leave it at that. And if you haven't, it's okay. Don't worry. Stuff is waiting for you. Into everyone's life, a little stuff will come. Yeah.
It's a great point because you opened up about your grief on social media earlier this year, and the amount of responses you got, that must have been overwhelming to know, man, all these other people are going through this too. And just sharing what you went through. I mean, you just must have been blown away by all the DMs and the texts and everything.
I was, and it was interesting because the people who reached out to me, like I'm not talking just a DM and a message, but like I'm picking up the phone. You know, when the phone rings, you're like, oh my God, what, you know,
Yeah.
like my phone rang. Um, and it was the people who called who I hadn't talked to and didn't think I was close to. Like maybe I don't talk to them every day. I was shocked. I mean, I had a CBS News anchor reaching out to me and praying with me over the phone. And I'm not really a church going person. So I was blown away by the humanity. And that just shows you when you are vulnerable and you let it out there, you are opening up a door to connect with people. And so another person who is the assistant to the mayor here, like she's the mayor's right hand man, woman rather, here in DC. She called me, talked to me on the phone for an hour and a half because she had recently lost her mom and went through a whole thing. And she wanted to tell me that. We have stories
Wow.
inside of us that we're only going to tell some people, but you got to open the door and let people know that I'm a safe place for you. I mean, that's in friendship, in life, it's a really good lesson.
Yeah, it is. And that's a good segue into journalism. Can you tell me a little bit about your upbringing? I know that it was a challenging upbringing, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's really funny because I used to talk about it all the time. And now that I've lost my parents, I try to honor their name. But the reality was, I just wasn't, there was emotional abuse. We'll just leave it at that. And so my parents were divorced, and many people's parents were divorced, but just it was tough. And it led to me not really believing in myself. I didn't know that I could be a journalist. I didn't know that I could be something. I just thought I was going to live life and get through. That was my mentality. So the things that I've done boggle my own mind sometimes. I was a high school dropout. I tried to take my life when I was 13. It's getting very depressing, by the way. There are some interesting things and fun things that I can tell you later on, but just indulge me now. See, you're getting things out of me. But I share that to let people know. I remember being a, a reporter in Connecticut, and I was talking to a young man at like some kind of nonprofit organization where I was helping people put together their resumes, high school dropouts. And I told him I was a high school dropout. And he looked at me in my skirt and at this time I was in Connecticut. So I was like wearing a blazer and I was looking like a reporter, the reporter I was. And he was like, "You?" And I was like, "Yeah, I dropped out of high school." And that I could just see it the look on his face. We're from different socioeconomic backgrounds, different places, different races. And he looked at me differently. And I thought, I got to keep sharing this story.
Yeah. Do you feel like, and we can talk about this more, but you went on to work at Wall Street, right? And you went to work in news, both jobs that are considered in some ways to people elitist type jobs. Did you feel imposter syndrome at all going out for jobs like this, coming from the upbringing that you did?
I always felt, well, here's the thing. Sometimes when you're young, you don't know any better. So I tell
Mm.
my mentees and my coaching clients now, have a delusion about yourself. Be so deluded that whatever you think you can do, you can do. Walk into that room like you're Beyonce. So back then, when I started working on Wall Street, I just was deluded. I was like, "Oh, here's this job. I'll just apply for it." Like that's that. That's something I want. I think people were like, okay. But I was so deluded that I thought, "Oh, I'm going to work in that building." Like I just didn't know any better. Um, but as time went on, I did get imposter syndrome in this career of being a journalist because it is a weird thing. Everybody I ever coach in their first market is like, just they're not standing in the place of being a reporter and a journalist and a trusted source. and an authority yet. They're still in their old life of, I'm a college student, or I'm somebody's kid, or I'm, whatever it may be. I'm someone's sister. Like, I'm someone's brother. So that's when oh my gosh, yes, that's exactly when I started to understand imposter syndrome. And you will never know imposter syndrome, like to the core, unless you've been standing at the White House. And what is it, Murray?
Mhm.
You got something to say? My dog is here. You want to go? You can go. You can go, buddy. Go eat. Um, until you are standing at the White House doing a live shot. Wow. People that you watch on TV are standing at every other tent doing a live shot on Pebble Beach, and you're like, I better not mess this up. Yeah, yeah. That'll mess with your head.
Yeah, especially if it's like Anderson Cooper on one side and who else on the next side?
Terry Moran was next to me when I was doing the death of RBG. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta do this stand up, but you're here and you're so loud.
All right, so let's talk about your career. You went from high school dropout to what happened after that?
A series of jobs in marketing. I was working in a bunch of different marketing jobs and I was watching 48 hours and I got hooked. I thought, this is incredible. And I don't even remember who the correspondent was, but I was so taken on a Saturday night that I picked up the phone and called CBS News and asked for the person whose name was listed on the credits as the executive producer. Her name was Susan Zirinsky.
Wow.
She picked up the phone. 10 o'clock, whatever time on a Saturday night, and talked to me. I think she probably was either tickled that somebody would ask such a ridiculous question, or that the show that she worked on would spur this kind of drive in someone. But she invited me to visit, and then 20 years later, she became my boss at CBS News. But it would never have happened if I didn't make that phone call. Now, that's a long sales cycle, 20 years, but we kept in touch over the years. Now, at that point, obviously, I wasn't ready for CBS News. It took 20 years to be ready for CBS News. But if I didn't know her, I might not have gotten that chance. In fact, I know I wouldn't have gotten that chance. So just for everyone out there, make the call. Be the fool. Be deluded.
Yes. Yes, that's absolutely right. Just take those chances. Don't be scared. I know it's
Yeah.
so easy as aspiring journalists to be scared. When I was working in film production, I wanted to be a big producer originally. And I reached out to the Weinstein Company, which at the time, now that name is a bit tainted for obvious reasons. But yeah, and they were winning Best Picture every year in a row. This was around 2011. And that was my number one company. And I reached out to them. I called them up and I probably Googled the names of the main producers, called one of the producers, said, if you ever need somebody to come in, please let me know. Left a voicemail because she didn't pick up, but she called me back. And the very next day, I went to temp at the Weinstein Company. So it is one of those moments of closed my eyes and said, I am just going to do this and make that call no matter how scary it is.
Absolutely. See, you are proof. Anyone who's listening, if you don't make a call this week, what are you doing? What are you doing? And we think, oh well, maybe they're gonna get mad if I call, or they're gonna think whatever. No, they're gonna be impressed. Anyone who calls me, anyone who asks me, I'm like, sure, come on in.
And if they aren't impressed, they're going to forget about it in 5 seconds and you move on with your life.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Do the thing. Do the thing. Ask. The size of your life is directly correlated to the size of your ask. ASK. Just you gotta ask.
Yes.
You have to just create your life by asking. That's it.
So, what was your first job in news? Did you go the local route up to
Oh,
network?
girl, I sure did. I mean, this is my path. I got a job at New York One. I was a camera person. I got paid $10.50 an hour to bring that gear all over the five boroughs of New York City. From there, I made a tape and I went to a now defunct station I like using that word defunct, called SI 76. It was in Staten Island, New York, and it only served Staten Island on Time Warner Cable. So there was that. From there, I went to News 12 Connecticut. Now that's where I learned how to be a reporter. I did live shots. The first one, not so good. Um, yeah, that's where I learned how to become a reporter. And then from there, I got an opportunity after asking and asking and asking at NBC Connecticut. So that was a really good opportunity to go to an O&O in Connecticut. And I'm a New Yorker, so it was like, it was up right near me, right near me. It was still 2.5 hours away, but still. And from there, I went to New
Yes.
York, DC, and I'm here in DC still.
And when did CBS News come to your door? Or did you reach out? Like, how did that happen?
I'm so glad you asked because this is another one of those Delulu ask situations. So I was working in New York City at Pix 11. It was a great time in my life. Really loved it. Working in New York City was wonderful. Got an opportunity here in Washington, D.C. at the CBS affiliate, WUSA 9. Came here, thought this is great. I got a promotion. I was an anchor. Things were great. I thought I was going to be here for a long time until we got a new news director. And he took one look at me and was like, yeah, I'm not feeling you. Um, I don't think you're going to be our anchor anymore, but you tell me what you want to do around here. And I thought to myself, wow, you're ending my career essentially, because what am I going to do from here? I'm an anchor in a top 10 market. And where do I go from here? Um, Ego, of course, to me, I had an ego and I didn't want to go anywhere else. That you want to continue on your trajectory. So I said, I'm out. Left and started my own business coaching journalists. I was doing that for a year when I was coaching one woman, telling her to make a phone call, trying to like tell her, listen, you got to ask for what you want. You got to call this news director. You got to ask for what you want. And that was the same day that my mentor, Susan Zirinsky, was made the head of CBS News. And I realized after I hung up with her, pouring myself into her and believing in her and just pushing her to stand up and ask for what she wanted, that I didn't do it. So I got my little phone. I said, Susan, I'd love to be a soldier in your army. Let me know if you got any room for me. And you would think like I would get the job right then and there, but it wasn't like that. She was like, put me in touch with this one, put me in touch with that one. Some they didn't get back to me 3 times, and I just didn't take the not getting back to as no, because we make up things in our head. They didn't get back to me. They don't like me. They think
Yes.
I'm terrible. No, she's busy. All we know is she didn't get back to me. So I told her, I'm going to be, this is a talent, one of the talent people, said, I'm going to be in New York next Tuesday at, all day. I have a meeting. Can I meet you maybe, anytime between 10 a.m. and noon? I'll bring you a coffee. We can look at my stuff. And she said yes. Now I wasn't going to be in New York, but I hopped on a bus because at that point I was pretty broke. So I hopped on a bus, went to New York, and made it happen. You have to have an undeniable and unstoppable belief in yourself. Because if you don't, no one else will.
Man, it makes me think, why do we do this to ourselves? Like, why do we tell even today, we tell ourselves, like, oh, this person didn't respond back to my email. They must not like me. Or, like they could just be busy. But like in our head, we go through like this list of like, nope, it's not that, like, ugh.
I know. I do this too. And also, like, when friends don't get back or you're interested in dating someone and they don't get back to you, you're just
Anything.
not the
Yeah.
person for them. That's okay. It doesn't mean that, your knees are wrinkled or, or your nose is funny or what like we do these things.
Right.
But one thing through all the therapy and teaching and coaching I've been through is we are meaning making machines. We got to make everything mean something when it just means they didn't return the call. They did not do this. Doot, 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 doot. Doesn't mean you're ugly. Doesn't mean you're not worthy. Doesn't mean you're not good enough. Like, but it's taken me a whole life to figure that out. You just got to catch yourself when you see yourself thinking these things.
Your story also reminded me of this quote. Rejection is redirection.
I was working at WUSA 9, moving right along, was there for years, you know, was so happy to be anchoring. And then this guy ends it all. Basically, that's rejection. But,
Yep.
it's pretty good to be working at the network a year after that. That felt good. It's
Right.
redirection. But I
Yeah.
needed to go through that whole situation. And by the way, if I never started my business and coaching people, maybe I wouldn't even be talking to you right now. I mean, my life wouldn't be as full as it is because I have amazing women in my circle. Some of my mentees are my best friends.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. Tell me, you're a confidence coach. You've been mentoring so many women on our Facebook group pages. I mean, you've just been an inspiration to me and so many women. How did you get your start in that? And what made you want to pivot into that?
I was always the person where people would feel comfortable coming to me and saying, "Hey, I want to do a read. Can we get on the desk and can I read and can you tell me how I'm doing? Or hey, can you look at my reel?" So I had all these people lining up at my desk, literally at work, lining up my desk. Hey, can you look at this? Hey, can you look at that? And I was like, okay, I need to get paid for this. So I started coaching. I asked my boss at the time, I go, do you mind if I coach? And he's like, no. So I signed up for a coaching program and learned a little bit about coaching and then started coaching people on the side. It just kept coming to me and I was doing it anyway. I can't say no. But then when I left Channel 9, I thought, I'm going to start this thing. And I didn't know what it was going to be like. And for anyone out there starting a business or a podcast, what you start out with isn't what you end up with a year later. Like you got to pivot and so it was so much fun to work on a website and work on offerings. Like, how do you make money? What's the best way of going about it? And the business has changed. So I really enjoyed it so, so much. It just is what I do. I'm the person that you're in a bar, in a bathroom, and a girl's crying. She's going to tell me her story. It just happens to be that way. So I'm good.
You call yourself a confidence coach. What do you think makes a confident journalist? Like, what attributes stick out to you?
It's not that you need to get something or attain something. That's what I always say in my coaching. You don't need anything else. I mean, maybe you need to work on your voice, or maybe you need to make that extra phone call, or you need to know how to shape your story. I'm here for everyone to help with that. That I can help anyone with. Um, but what we need to do at most is let go of what's stopping us. It is that imposter syndrome. Why you? You think, oh, well, I don't know. I'm like, I don't want to call them and ask for this. That's what's stopping you. If you're not going to ask the tough question and know how to say it, you can say respectfully, blah, and then it makes it a lot better. Um, People aren't going to always like your questions. That means you're doing a good job, but you have to have nothing stopping you. Again, it's the thing that we were just talking about how like we're in our head going, oh, they didn't call me back. You got to be Delulu. You got to keep calling. A lot of it is we just don't think we're enough or we're good enough or something's standing in the way. So we just need to get rid of the blocks, not add another thing.
Yeah. Do you notice that a lot? Like when people come to you for mentorship, like what struggles do you see people come to you the most about?
They don't know. And well, this business, no one teaches you and no one mentors you, and you don't get feedback and you're just doing the same old thing over and over again. I remember when I started, I would interview someone for 7 minutes straight. So I've got 7 minutes of your interview. There's no soundbite in there. I remember asking someone if I could go with them, and I was blown away. This one guy, Jim Murphy, he let me go with him when I didn't know anything in Connecticut. And I saw how he worked the room. He was like, okay, kids, because we were in a school, don't look in the camera. If you look in the camera, you're not going to be on TV. I need you to pay attention to your teacher while I'm back here getting some video. And then I'll show it to you after. Like he set the tone. And he would, as they're setting up the camera, he would talk to the teacher or the city councilman or whatever and say, all right, let's talk. Okay, I'm going to ask you those 3 questions then. Okay, gotcha. So now he's not wasting his time. He knew what he needed. It's we don't know what we need, so we ask all the things. And so that's what people are starting out with. They don't have a clear focus on their story and they're wasting their time. But that just takes me as long as it took me to say that. You don't know because there's no guidebook. And your boss isn't going to tell you. And that's why I have the membership. I was coaching up before the pandemic and through the pandemic, and I realized people can't afford this. I mean, you don't get paid a lot. So I made this monthly membership where you can hop in when you can, hop out. If you can't make it, that's fine. Watch later. And you can ask your questions. And there's no dumb question. Plus, you also have this group of people. If you're like, oh, I really wish I could work in San Francisco. Well, we have someone who works in San Francisco. They can tell you about it. And we're just like, it's like a sisterhood. I mean, we do have some men, but not many. It's really a sisterhood. But we love the men.
And this, yes. And for our listeners, can you give some tangible takeaways on how a woman can build and hone her confidence on air?
Yeah, absolutely. It all starts beforehand. So I do a lot of training on anchoring and reporting. And I'll give you this about anchoring. You got to give yourself time. You got to have grace with yourself. You cannot sit down at the anchor desk 5 minutes before, 2 minutes before, and expect yourself to be ready to go. You got to make sure everything's perfect. You got your outfit, you've got your mic, that works, your prompter works, your hair is okay, like whatever. Make sure all of this is good. And now you can connect to your viewer. And so I will tell you and everybody out there, if you're an anchor or a reporter, but I'm talking about anchoring right now, you have to know that you change lives and you may even save lives. Like this, we're not talking about a job for the week. You're not just, doing a little job here. A story that you anchor, a story that you are talking about could save someone's life. I was back in the day doing a Facebook Live behind the scenes when I was anchoring. Literally, all we did was talk in that commercial break about the weather and like maybe someone say, I like that dress, Debra. Like, or how's your dog? It was nothing chatter. Like it wasn't really deep. And these same 20 people came. And at one point I was like, I only have 20 people. I'm at a top 10 market. What am I doing this for? I'm so busy, doing the show. And I stopped doing it. And I got a message from a guy who said, listen, I am a veteran. I have PTSD. I've tried to take my life several times. And the only time I feel like I'm part of a community is that half hour that I am just a name in this Facebook Live. Because everybody says hi to each other because they were really kind and nice people. Think about the people who are on a Facebook Live while you're anchoring on a Saturday night. They're probably a certain age. They're not running around. I'm not getting like 25-year-olds on this thing. Like they're a little bit older. And, I realized how important my words are, my energy is when I walk into a room. I never forget that, even when I walk into work every day, that I can lift up someone at work because everybody's going through something. So everybody out there who's anchoring or reporting, you're not alone. And you're not doing something inside a vacuum. You're literally changing and saving lives. You have to connect to that. And when you know how important you are, that's what you're communicating to someone. And how could you be more confident than that?
Yeah, that's so true. That it makes me tear up because it's so easy for us to feel like nobody is watching, nobody is caring, nobody is listening to what we have to say. And when that one message comes through saying, thank you for sharing this, thank you for telling that story, I save those messages. It means the world because it is so easy to just get on camera, be on TV, and in some ways feel like nobody is even hearing you,
Right, because you're just looking at the camera. You don't see the people, but you have to choose your thoughts, right? Just like sometimes we choose, oh, I didn't get that job. I guess I'm not good enough. But that's not actual real. That's not reality. That's not a fact. So we get to choose our thoughts and we get to choose and know that we do save lives. And yeah, I got that too. I got all of those. Oh my gosh. I have all those letters that people have sent me. I've got a little smile file. I call that in my phone. When I need it, I'm going to check it out because there's enough stuff out there. It's going to try and bring you down. So you might as well have something that'll bring you up. You have to be responsible for that.
Smile file. I love that. You know, we get so many comments about our looks and appearance and what we did wrong, what we said wrong, all of the trolls and all of the
Yeah,
people that want to chime in with their opinion.
yeah,
So, those are sometimes, and I think this is psychologically proven that we tend to focus on the negative. We tend to focus on
yes.
those mean comments. So you need to make that file of all the great things that people say about you. So when you are having a hard moment, go to that and read those to remind yourself that you're doing important work.
Yeah, this is not for the faint of heart. You get up every day and you go out there and you tell stories, and people trust you with their stories. And you have to get it correct, right, on time, factual, compelling. I mean, it's an important job, despite what anybody says. I know this to be true.
With, and I'm sure you've done so many of them with live shots, how do you come across confident with live shots being on live television? Can you give some advice to that?
Yeah. So I talk to my mentees about this. We think we have to fill, right? Like, I got to fill. I got to fill a minute. I got to fill 2 minutes. I got to tell you about this scene. Let's say it's a car crash or something, or it's like flooding. I'm standing here at the corner of this and that, and this area is flooded behind me. If you take a look, you can see the water is rising up to here. That car is up to, that's me filling. I'm just talking. I'm talking action. But if I'm going to feel, so it's fill versus feel, I'm going to say, it has been raining all day. People who live over here can't even get out of their house. See that water? It's up to here. That's 6 feet. Can you imagine all the things that are ruined now? We're talking about your shoes that are on the floor. We're talking about your rugs, and that's going to smell. You, you're going to, I'm just making up things here. I don't know. I haven't covered a flood in a long time, so I'm just going to say, um, you want to end your sentence. Have a couple of things to say. You don't have to fill 2 minutes. You talk until you're done talking, and then you send it back. You're in charge of what you say, just like you're in charge of the energy you bring into the room. You don't need a ton of information, but just give me 3 bullet points. The rain has been going all day. It's not going to stop. People here are sick of it. It's been 3 days. Every time they get the water out of their basement, there's more in. Can you imagine how tired they must be? They don't even sleep at night, just waiting. Yeah, I'm making up things. I'm really getting into this live shop. But like I'm like, give me three things. And then, insurance companies have been, whatever the third thing is. Just give me 3 things. And don't fill. Just saying a bunch of stuff and an and a and a and as you can see behind me and all this filler stuff. Just tell me the story and make it bullet points. Land the plane at the end of each sentence. Have 3 things and go back. That's it. We love to, let me talk about all the things, and we're not prepared. We just stand there and we're like, okay, I'll talk about that. And we just look around and we're not prepared for it. We just fill the silence. But we have to have a story that we're weaving.
When you started out, did you try to memorize and sometimes completely blank on what you were even going to say?
I forgot my name once. That's how bad it was. Yeah. I've definitely forgotten my name. I've definitely had bad, I had a live shot so bad once that the PIO called me up and goes, I've never seen anything like that before. And I was like, I know it wasn't good. Like, he didn't mean it, but he was like, are you okay? Like, that was really bad. I'm like, uh-huh. It was bad. I've done a million of them. Not all of them are going to be winners, right? Yeah.
No, they're not. We've all dealt with them. That is for sure. What advice, what advice can you give for somebody who feels late to the game? They feel like they haven't gotten to the step that they want to get to just yet.
I would say, how's that working for you? Feeling late. Who whose timeline are you on? Are you Jesus? Are you God? Because you don't have to believe in Jesus or God, like to know, like, where'd that, again, we make up things like they're facts. We make up things like they're facts. I remember someone saying to me when I got an anchor job, they usually don't hire women to anchor when they're 40. Says who? Says who? Talk to Gail King about that. I'm like, whose timelines and whose bull is this? You know? Again, stop making up things. There's no time. That's some BS that we put, that the world puts on us. I have to be married by, this has to be networked by 30. Okay, good. Good for you. Excellent. How's that working for you? It's not going to work for
I
you.
heard that
Just
too.
live and do your
Yeah.
thing.
I've heard you had to be at the place where you want by 35. And I'm like, well, past that.
Like who made that up? That's some person out there, and I don't know who that is, but that's incorrect.
You said on social media, and I loved this, you said, don't be the crumb. Do you remember saying that?
Don't be the crumb. So this came out of coaching one woman, and again, like I'm so thankful because let me tell you, every time I coach someone, I walk away with something. So they think they're getting it all, but I'm going, oh, that's right. Don't be the crumb. This one woman really wanted to work in this one market, and she was like, but if I could talk them into like opening up a position there and this, like, da, 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 and I could do this, I could do that, or maybe I could just like turn the story there, and like it was all about like there wasn't a job available there, but she wanted to get a job. She's like, maybe I could do some things for them on my off time, and I was like, or you could tell them that you want to work there full time and interview there, and when an opportunity comes up, they can hire you, like, or like don't be the crumb. Like don't ask for crumbs because when you ask for crumbs, you are the crumb. This and again, this reminded me like dating is never fun. Well, no, I shouldn't say dating is never fun, but sometimes dating is not fun. And I remember thinking like it's hard to. I was walking around again with one of these things, right? These things that stay in your head like they're real, but they're not. It's hard to find someone I like. I made that up. So I thought, well, I'm just going to stay with this guy who's not so great. And I'll take the crumbs from him because, again, it's hard to find. We tell ourselves BS things. Now, that's going to keep me being the crumb and asking for the crumb. It's not true. How about you're good enough to work in that market and there are an abundance of people who are just right for me? I mean, you may think I'm just making up stuff and maybe I'm just too positive, but what's the alternative? Feeling depressed and telling myself some BS, then I'm going to be walking around like my head down. And then when that person who's just right for me walks by, I won't see them.
So true.
And another thing about that is confidence. I like you have to, if you're going to go get a network job, you better be confident. You have to be confident about your worth. That's the difference. I didn't realize that. I thought I needed to get that break and then I'd be confident. No, you have to walk around like you're already network when you're not network, and that's going to attract network. Trust me. I remember being like, oh, when it like clicked for me. That's what they have is they know that they're good, and they are, but they're not better than you. They're just good.
It also makes me think of the quote, dress for the part you want, not the part you have.
Yeah, yeah, totally. But dress your mind for that.
Exactly. Also, when you watch people's reels, when you take a look, what do you think stands out to you? Ah, this person's a strong reporter or this person's a strong anchor.
You have to have a voice and a presence that compels. It's what you say. Like, you have to take me along on the story. I don't want to hear someone who's just standing there telling me the story like I'm saying it right now. It's okay. Maybe you're like, okay, well, I like her voice or she looks fine. But you have to take me there. Like when I was speaking earlier and you were going, oh my gosh, like that hit you when I told you about the guy who has PTSD and how we change and save lives. That's how you would need to talk. You need to connect and say, and deliver the story like that. Because that really, touched you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how you have to deliver the story. And here's a little technique for people. Sometimes you're not going to connect to the story. Sometimes you don't give a hoot about the story. Well, that's too bad. You got to make me care. And so you have to think, oh my gosh, I got to tell you something. This is a really good technique too, is, oh my gosh, I got to tell you. And then you deliver it. Like, oh my God, I'm trying to think of what was the story today that we talked about. Oh, of course, the shooter, and I don't want to date your podcast, but like the person who shot several people in New York. Oh my gosh, I got to tell you something. We have new information right now about the man accused of shooting 4 people in a Manhattan office tower, then turning the gun on himself. Number 1, this. Number 2, that. And number 3, police say blah, blah, blah. I don't remember exactly the details that we had today, but you want to have that intonation and motivation of, oh my gosh, I got to tell you. Oh my gosh, I got to tell you about this story. You know, just like when you see your friend and you both haven't seen this other friend in a while, and now she's married or now she's going out with someone, you're like, oh my gosh, I got to tell you about Sue. That's what you're doing. You got to take people by the collar, by the hand, by the, like, I got to tell you this. And
Oh,
have that kind of motivation or like just feeling of, oh my gosh, I got to tell you. It does make you more compelling.
incredible advice. Yes. And I'm going to use that now, just so you
Yay!
know.
Yay!
Every live shot. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you.
Yeah, because if you're doing a live shot, it's important. I have to tell you, we have incredible video of this subway, New York City subway, flooded. Listen to the people on board. They can't believe it. You may not either. Yeah, I don't know. I'm making up stuff now, but
We talk a lot about branding and be yourself on camera and authenticity. How important is authenticity on camera in our jobs?
I think that it is all that we have. Really, you have to be authentic. And when we say authentic, it's like, well, what does that mean? It's a buzzword, it's a throwaway word. I'm not reading when I'm anchoring. When I'm tracking, I'm not tracking. I'm telling you the story, and I'm trying to think of like how I can really even explain this. Do I have some kind of story here? Okay. Okay. It's been called the House of Horrors, where a woman kept her son captive for 20 years. Now, our investigative journalists in Connecticut are taking us inside a closed door meeting to make sure this never happens to another child. I really care about this never happening to another child. But if I said to you, to make sure this never happens to another child, it's got that fake, I'm reading, like icky feeling on it. I got to care. So this story makes me sick to my stomach. I'm sure maybe people have heard of it, maybe they haven't, but this poor young man was allegedly kept in this home in Connecticut and starved, abused, horrific. And if I'm going to say this, like I need to say it authentically, like I really care. And I'm not even going to look at this script and just put it down. It's been called the House of Horrors, where a woman allegedly kept her son captive for more than 20 years. And now our Connecticut investigative journalists on the ground are getting inside a closed door meeting to make sure this never happens to another child again. Like, this is sickening. Like, I'm feeling this. You got to feel it. And if you don't feel it, then you got to try and feel it. I mean, nobody wants something like that to happen to somebody. So that's when I talk about authenticity, that's what I'm talking about, is that I'm feeling it. Because I'm not going to connect to every story, but I don't want it to ever be like, I'm reading this and that's what it's going to sound like.
Yeah, it is. It's the feeling.
Yeah.
You need to feel it, and then people will connect
Yeah.
stronger to that
Oh,
feeling.
absolutely.
Before I let you go, for those that do want to become network correspondents one day, what advice would you have for somebody wanting to get to where you are?
You've got to be bold. You've got to ask for what you want. Obviously, you have to work hard. Um, you have to look at your work, and you have to find mentors who will look at your work and give you feedback. I remember doing a stand up 10 to 12 times in a row. The 12th one sounded just like the first one. When I was like starting out. You need to have a breakthrough. You need to have a transformation. Otherwise, you're going to keep doing the same thing. The reporter I was in Connecticut is not the reporter I was in New York. And the reporter I was in New York was a far cry from the person I was when I was at WUSA 9. And that reporter isn't even close to what I was bringing at the White House. And all of that is nothing next to where I am now. I mean, you need a transformation. You need, and I don't mean like, oh, you guys aren't, all of you are terrible. You need a transformation. No, no, you need to grow. And you need a mentor. You need people who are going to help you, but you got to ask for that.
Well, before I let you
Yes,
go,
my love.
do we have time
Yes.
to get to the quick fires?
Hit me.
And I'll make them quick. All right.
But painless? Will you make them painless?
Oh, of
Okay,
course.
sorry. We'll see.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, let me ask you this.
That's my girl right there.
If I weren't a journalist, I would be blank.
Oh, I would have a senior dog rescue. I love
Oh.
doggies.
Is your dog Murray a rescue?
Yes, and so's the other one, Baxter. And I've got them when they were both
Oh,
adults.
my dog too.
Oh, I knew you were a good person. I could
Oh.
tell.
Your coffee order.
Oh, girl, coffee black. I don't put nothing in that coffee. I need it to be straight up.
When I drink regular coffee, it is black.
That's
Same with
There
you.
you go.
But I love my lattes.
Yeah, well,
Your favorite travel destination?
Hong Kong.
Ooh.
I know, right? I was very blessed
When's
to
the last
go.
time you went there?
Long time ago, but I just loved it.
Your favorite restaurant?
Minetta Tavern in New York and in DC.
Oh, so they have two
Yeah,
locations.
yeah. It's a Keith McNally restaurant, and I'm just obsessed with him.
Something people often get wrong about you.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I feel like I am so much who I am that anyone who gets something wrong about me doesn't know me. I mean, you might look at me and go, "Oh, well,
Mm.
maybe she's had it easy or something." I don't know, but no, I work hard. I don't know.
I feel like that could be a Real Housewives quote somewhere in there. Like, you know, the opening tagline?
I love that. I love those shows. Oh my God. Yeah, don't tell anybody. Oh, I think you're gonna tell people. Okay. They're gonna know. They're gonna know. How
I
will they
love them
know?
too.
Yeah.
We're in this together.
Thank you.
The last movie, TV show, or book you watched and loved?
I'm trying to think. TV show. Oh, White Lotus. I couldn't get enough of White Lotus. Watched all 3 seasons. Loved it.
Love it too.
Yeah.
If you could switch lives with one person for a day, who would it be?
Someone who owns a spa. I would love to
At
go.
the White Lotus?
Maybe. Yeah, someone who owns a spa, or maybe my friend Wendy, who's a travel journalist, Wendy Gillette, because she
Ooh.
travels and it's really cool.
Yeah, that would be fascinating.
Yeah.
Last question.
Oh,
If you could go back in time to when you first started your career, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
um, I would say, okay, two pieces of advice, if you don't mind. Number one, I would have left New York and gone to some random like place. I was so scared to go to like, I don't know, Madison, Wisconsin, or wherever, Charleston, South Carolina. I wish that I had gone somewhere and like been there for a couple of years. I went to Connecticut, which wasn't that far from New York. Um, I wish I'd just gone somewhere else. I think I would have had that experience a lot sooner of working at an affiliate. That's the first thing. The second thing is I would have said, baby girl, believe in yourself. Like, believe in yourself. Like, enough of this comparing and wishing you were this. And like, I really was hard on myself about what I looked like, what I wore, um, all of it. And when you're uncomfortable, about how you look, people get that from you. Maybe you're overcompensating with like, you know, too much makeup or, whatever it may be. But I remember just really not, I don't think you can hate yourself and do well. I think you have to really love yourself. And I was way too hard on myself with scripts, with how I looked. I thought that if I controlled everything, then I could be, my things would be perfect. But there is nothing that's perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. You could shoot for perfection, but it doesn't exist. If I'd only known I was good enough as I was, which took me all these years to figure out, I might have been happier. Um, I don't know if I would have gotten anywhere quicker. This is my journey, but I would have been happier. And that's actually important to be happy. Believe it or not, that's kind of important.
Yes, it does. What does happiness mean to you today?
It means something a lot different than it meant 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Um, I find happiness by being grateful for what I have. I used to look at what I didn't have. And I think now I lost my parents. I'm also in a place in my career where I really am happy. Things are just different now. And I know that my job is to be happy, like my job in life. If I'm feeling peaceful, content, grateful, I can walk around in this world in a way that allows me to serve and allows me to bring energy into places where it's needed. So I try to be grateful every day. I wake up every day and my two dogs are the happiest guys in the world to see me wake up. When I wake up, I just rustle a little bit in the bed and I can hear my Baxter's tail wet. Like, and he's got this tail that sounds like I get I get a standing ovation for waking up. So I lean into that. That's how I start my day, and the whole day goes from there. I just look for the good.
Do you think the little girl who came from that challenging background could have ever envisioned that she would become a network correspondent?
I can't believe my life. So I can't imagine how that little girl who had no inspiration and just was in the darkness would ever think that she could make it here. I don't know what to attribute it to. It just boggles my mind.
What gave her that strength to reach for the stars and reach for her dreams?
I think it starts with a hope inside and a wanting. I've told people that the universe won't give you dreams that it won't fulfill upon. It just won't. And I just remember being a little kid looking out the window and thinking, there's got to be a better place. There's got to be something else out there. And just being really excited about the possibility of whatever else could be out there. I think it starts with that.
Debra, this has been not only incredible, but so helpful for so many women. I know that they're going to get a lot of out of this. If people do want to join your mentoring services, how can they go about doing that?
Be part of our incredible group of uplifting people. Um, get coaching from someone who's been there, who's been where you've been and made it to where I made it to, being a network correspondent. Just go to my website. Everything's there. It's called the membership. Go to debraalfarone.com and you can find it there. I don't talk to a lot of people about it because I figure if the universe sends you my way and you click on my link and you find your way in, then guess what? You're the kind of person we want. So I don't talk about it a lot about how to join, but I'm glad that you're giving me this opportunity because I know that there's no one else doing what I do. Sure, there are other coaches, but no one else is doing what I do because people tell me, listen, you didn't just help me become a good journalist, you helped me become a better person. And that, like, wow, my mind is blown. So anyone who ever works with me, you're part of a special group of people who I never forget and they'll never forget. And we all are just connected. So but I have to say also, I can't help people if you don't give me the platform. So thank you for what you do because we're all in this together, girl. All in this together, helping each other. And I'll throw this out to your viewers and listeners. Help someone today. Go out of your way, give someone a compliment, help someone get the job they want, refer someone, help a woman today because we needed help at one point and someone helped us.
Karma. Bring on that karma.
That's right. That's right. It's energy. Don't don't be stingy with your energy.
Don't gatekeep. That is
True.
1000% a fact.
Yeah. I just really appreciate you asking me and I appreciate what you do. So thank you for
Thank you.
asking me and just keep on being awesome.
Oh,
Keep on being great and like just helping people. It's beautiful.